When Jasper entered the room for the first time, he didn't know why he entered that room, but he was in a familiar place with familiar people, so he was very relaxed. He had never seen Cosmo before, and usually needs a lot of time to get interested in something new, especially when it's presented to him in a visual way because of his visual impairment. So when he entered the room, he just started crawling around a little, but almost immediately he found the first button of the Cosmo system and was very taken with it. He really liked the blue light that shone, and he liked to touch it and how it felt. And that was actually just the first interaction he had with it, just enjoying the feeling of the button in his hands. And then we gave him a little time with that, and started to play one of the games you could play with the system. And usually he needs a lot of time. He never understands what he's supposed to do, and usually it's very hard to get him to try something out because he's really stubborn and really he's scared of doing something wrong, I guess. And with this system, he was totally relaxed and enjoying it immediately. When we started to play a game with him, in like no time at all, he understood what was expected of him to do. It was a game where when he touched the flashing light, another light started to flash, and he was looking around to see which other light was going to start flashing, which is a visual stimulus that's usually very hard for him to work with, and he was so open to it immediately. I was almost moved to tears to see him enjoy something so much when he's usually just not as cooperative and happy to do what we want him to do in therapy, or even when we're just playing with him. It was a very, very good moment. It was really special to see him get the system almost immediately, because he's usually very stubborn and afraid of doing something wrong and isn't very cooperative and willing to try something. But this time he was so open to it immediately, enjoying the touch of it and enjoying searching for another light to start flashing, that he was playing the game as it was supposed to be played. And I was really, really moved to tears almost to watch him do that. Because he has cerebral palsy combined with the cognitive and visual impairment, it's usually very hard to find the right way to make him do the things you need him to do. And because he was enjoying the lights and the music played because of his own touch, he was so enjoying himself that he forgot that he didn't like to use his right hand, and he wanted to be fast because he wanted to touch the lights as soon as he saw them. So he started to use his right hand, which he usually doesn't use, without thinking about it. So it made him do stuff without being self-conscious. The most standout moment in the session was when we recorded someone saying Jasper's own name, and every time he touched the button, you heard his name being said to him with weird sound effects, and he was enjoying that so much that he was reaching for buttons and just laughing when he heard his own voice, and actually even saying his own name when he heard it. He was so enjoying himself. It was beautiful. In the short time that Jasper got to work with Cosmo, his whole demeanor became much more alert. He was actively looking around for the next button to touch. And usually Jasper can be very withdrawn and starts using just only his audio sense. And now he was listening and watching at the same time. And he also started to use both his hands when usually he's just using his left hand and forgets about his right hand. But he was trying to be fast. And yeah, well, you have to use both hands if you want to be fast. He was very purposely trying to understand what was needed to perform the tasks he needed to perform. He was trying to understand what he needed to do instead of just doing what was asked of him, because nothing was asked of him. It just was put in front of him, and it started blinking, and he started pushing it, and he got a reaction, and he almost instinctively knew how to what was the next move he needed to do. So he was gaining experience, and he was using that experience to start doing new stuff he never done before. I did not know what really to expect of Cosmo, but I've seen a few of the possibilities it had. And I had a feeling it was something my son would be very attracted to. And that was exactly what happened, even more so, because I thought, well, he would be attracted to the lights and he would be attracted to the music, which is something very important for him. But I did not expect the way it was. It was so easy to interact with. It was so easy to just touch it and start using it. I never expected my son to be so open for it, to just play with it and do what he was supposed to do with it. And that I'd never expected, because he never is that interested in anything you put in front of him. So that's totally exceeded my expectations. I think it will be very beneficial in the long run, because you can see how the exercises build. You can start with the very easy exercises without being used to using the system, but I can also see how you can build on that after you start using it more often. And even with when the child develops, you can start using the harder exercises or the simpler exercises just in another way. I think the possibilities with this system are like limitless. The possibilities with the system are endless, because not only within the system that is already developed, you can keep on differentiating and trying to do different things with it, but I also think the people of Cosmo are still really asking for feedback, so they can keep on developing programs to use, and ways to make it more attractive for anybody with any disability. So it's something you can keep on using forever. When I saw Jasper use the system, I saw all the possibilities it has for all kinds of disabilities and all kinds of people with different interests. Anybody could be interested in using this. I was a little apprehensive at first when Jasper entered the room, because he's not always as cooperative as you would like him to be. He can actually sit in a chair with a therapist and just say no all the time. So when he entered the room, I just thought, well, let's see what he's gonna do. And then he went to the system and he grabbed the first button, and he was interested immediately. He liked the way that it felt, and he liked the lights. And then he walked away with it. And I hoped that he would start to use all the buttons, but he did not see that there were more than one button. So he just walked around with one button in his hand, enjoying himself very much. But then we started one of the games, and he got very soon understood that when he touched the button, the other button started to blink, and he had to touch that one, and then and he understood it really, really fast, and he enjoyed doing so. And because he was enjoying himself so much, um, he forgot he never uses his right hand, so he started using his left hand and his right hand to be even faster touching all the buttons. And he was actually he was looking around, where's the next button to touch. He was so so interested in what he was doing, and then he totally forgot about all the people standing around because he was enjoying himself. It was a beautiful moment, and I never expected him to understand what was supposed to happen. It was intuitive. He just, without we cannot explain to him what he is supposed to do. He just understood what he had to do and he did it. I remember most of that day when he started to actively look around for the next button. He usually has a problem using his vision, but now he was so alert. He was so just in the moment, really looking around and seeing stuff he usually never just sees. It's not there for him, and he saw it. There was He can actually do that. I didn't know he could, and he showed me he can when he's interested enough. Soon after Jasper started to interact with Cosmo, he started not only to listen to gain information, but also started to look around. And I think he even used his two senses at the same time, which he usually doesn't do. Um, and he also started to use his right hand. He normally doesn't use his right hand at all, although he is capable of using it. He's just not interested in using it. And now he wanted to play the game so well that he just intuitively started to use his right hand as well, because it would make him faster playing the game. I didn't know what to expect with Cosme, because I couldn't imagine something with so many possibilities to be so easy in use. But it was very easy with the tablet and the apps. Just push the button and it did what you wanted to do. And I also did not expect it to be so intuitive to use. You could just see Jasper knowing what to do even better than what I knew I had to do with it. He just totally got it. I'm the mother of Jasper. Jasper is almost 4, and he has cerebral palsy combined with a cognitive and visual impairment. He's also very hard to reach sometimes, and he also has a very hard time being told what to do, also because his language skills are very, very limited. You could feel everybody in the room just thinking in their heads about all the possibilities the system could give them. Everybody was so excited.